Hello everyone. This video is going to go over the muscle histology that I require my students in anatomy to know. So the first one we will be showing is skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle, that is located in all of the body muscles. So your deltoid, your latissimus dorsi, your biceps, your triceps, all of that is skeletal muscle. Now its function, as you probably know because you've done this, it's to move. It moves the position of the skeleton. It moves the bones. It also is to generate heat. So the more muscle you build, the more the ability for you to thermoregulate and stay warm is going to be much greater. Now, there are a few things to point out. One is that when you look at these cells, they are very parallel. Okay, so they're long and parallel. They also have multiple nuclei per cell. So looking at just this one cell, you can see that there's multiple nuclei located peripherally, so on the sides of the cell. That's one thing that'll tell you you're looking at skeletal muscle as opposed to the other two muscles we'll go over. You also see these little bands right here. And these bands, they remind me of TVs back in the day when they would get out of focus. These are called striations. And these striations are one way to tell you that you're looking at skeletal muscle as well. So skeletal muscle is voluntary, so you can control the movement of it. This is another image of skeletal muscle. How do you know? Again, you have these long bands that are parallel and next to each other. You have the striations, so the little lines going back and forth, or little stripes, as I like to think of it. And you have multiple nuclei per cell, and they're located on the sides. There's not a nucleus just dead smack in the middle of the cell. You're not going to see that with skeletal muscle. Now for the next one, we have cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle is located in the heart, so its purpose is to pump and circulate blood when it contracts, as well as maintaining blood pressure. Now, how do I know that this is cardiac compared to skeletal or say smooth muscle? Well, one way is the nucleus. The nucleus is going to be in the center of those cells, so it's not skinny and off to the side like we just saw with skeletal. We see these big round nuclei. We also have striations though. So both skeletal and cardiac have striations. The difference again is going to be, where is the nucleus located? Is it off to the side or is it dead smack in the middle? So dead smack in the middle, you know you're looking at cardiac. Also, they are not very parallel. They kind of branch off and they bend a little. They take these various shapes. There's large gaps between them. So that's another thing to tell you it's cardiac. And another thing I like to point out, do you see these dark lines right here? Okay. These dark lines are called intercalated discs. Intercalated discs are where one cell connects to the next, and you're not going to see that in skeletal muscle. You'll only see that in cardiac. Here is an image where you can see cardiac muscle again. So you see these intercalated discs right here, right here, right here. You see the nuclei in the center. It's kind of branching off, so you have these gaps behind them. You can't see the striations as well, but these intercalated discs are going to be the giveaway that you're looking at cardiac muscle. And then the last one we have is actually smooth muscle. And smooth muscle, it's kind of like you wiped away all the striations. You're not going to see any of those stripes or striations. All you're going to see are fat nuclei and some pink. Now, a lot of times students will mix up smooth muscle with dense regular connective tissue. So feel free to pull up the connective tissue video after this and try to compare the two and make sure that you kind of pinpoint what some of those differences are. For me, it's very large nuclei. The dense regular connective tissue had small purple dots, and those were those fibroblasts, but this has very large big purple ovals indicating those nuclei. And we see that in smooth muscle, okay? Now, where is smooth muscle located? A lot of times we find it in the gastrointestinal tract. So those are those organs of the digestive system. And its function could be to move food, move urine, reproductive tract secretions. We also find it in our blood vessels because it helps to regulate the diameter of the blood vessels. So constricting to have less blood or a slower flow, or opening up to have that there. So just changing the vasoconstriction on that one. And then we also have this image right here. This too is smooth muscle. Again, you don't have the striations, you don't have the lines, but you can see these large purple nuclei. And that's going to tell you that you're looking at smooth muscle and that you're not looking at any other type of muscle, and you're not looking at dense regular connective tissue. So those are the 3 types of muscles. Feel free to review this as much as necessary, or you can move on to the next video, which is the neural tissue.